Scene one, Apple, take one.
What time is it?
You want to get high?
That's right.
You got me smoking. You got me smoking. You got me smoking. Smoking. You got me smoking. You got me smoking. You got me smoking. It's a motherfucking podcast.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into Oops Cannabis Smoking. Another Saturday. Happy weekend. And today we have a very, very special guest. He was on a long time ago, a long time ago, but he is coming back to grace us with his presence. We have Joe from the Hippy Speedball Podcast coming on. But before we get to him, we just got to make a couple of announcements real quick. We have just partnered up with Chill Frog CBD. So go to chillfrogcbd.com and use the promo code OOPS30, all caps, to get 30% off of your order. All you CBD users out there, go get yourself a little discount courtesy of your boy. And live Wednesday, November 17th at 10 p.m., I will be a guest star on Live in the Smoke Break with the Sonic Boone. He was a guest on my show not too long ago. And I will be returning the favor. So go ahead and check us out on that YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So without further ado, let's get a guest onto the show, the most important person of the day. And here he is. Joe,
up?
what's going on, buddy?
Hello, beautiful Oops Caught Me Smoking world. It is good to be here. What is up, Dan, my man? How you doing, buddy?
Oh, and hanging in there, dude. We're growing. Growing as we can, as fast as we possibly can.
Yeah, you are. He's being modest. Right here, this way. No, this way. Yeah, he's being modest. This guy right here. He's being super modest. He's killing it. He's killing it. He's doing really fucking well. So, and it's really seeing my podcast fam, like, you know, like we've been on this journey together for such a long time, and to see you, Jerry, and myself, to see us grow in the way we are, dude, it's making me so happy, bro. Congratulations, dude. Keep on that fucking grind. Awesome.
You're not doing too bad yourself. I'm
over
doing on Instagram, you're kind of popping over there too. So not to toot my horn, but toot your own horn a little bit.
I try to remain humble, you know. I try to, you know, and by boosting others, that boosts myself up. You know, that's the way we work. Forget about it, you know.
That's right. Always try to support other people, especially your fam out there, especially Jerry and Blaze out there killing it. His podcast has reached over 3.3 million people. So that guy, speaking of killing it, I already called dibs on the Jamie job. So,
oh yeah.
I already got dibs on that job, guys. So sorry.
I'll just be that energetic friend that you just keep around and stuff like that. So I'm cool with that. You know.
Awesome. But yeah. Anyways, go ahead, take a couple minutes and tell these people about your podcast and where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, sounds good. So thanks for having me, of course. I am Joe from the Hippy Speedball Podcast. It's basically a cannabis culture show. So the element of the podcast is, so a Hippy Speedball is coffee and cannabis. And if you ever, that feeling whenever you're smoking a bowl, having a cup of coffee with a really cool person, and then you end up learning a whole bunch of shit you didn't even realize you wanted to know, that is the Hippy Speedball Podcast. And, there's lots of people from all around, musicians, activists, actors, actresses, just trying to get everybody to kind of be that bridge between the cannabis community and really the rest of the world. So, just try to be that person to say, like, hey, we're not all just a bunch of dumb stoners. We have a lot of cool shit to talk about. And that's what I like to emphasize on the Hippy Speedball Podcast. So Thanks again for having me, bro. It's really good to be back on.
Oh, not a problem, dude. I'm glad to have you. And to all you people out there, yes, we are not just lazy stoners. We are productive stoners, and we do this all the time.
Yeah.
It's an everyday event.
I have more energy when I smoke, actually. Believe it or not, that boosts my productivity. It boosts my actual energy. A lot of people think it kind of brings you down, but I have a freakish amount of energy whenever I'm getting stoned. If I'm not smoking, I go to bed super early. I don't know if it's just because I'm bored or if I'm genuinely tired. I can't really tell yet, but either way, I have a lot more energy when I smoke, and I like to, like you said, just show that we're not just a bunch of dumb potheads. We have a lot of cool shit to talk about, and some really interesting things and things you might actually pull from. You never know.
Right, exactly. Like some of the most interesting people I have ever had the presence of talking to were very, very big stoners, and some of it made sense. A lot of it made sense, and some of it was just like, all right, dude, come on.
yeah, we all have those moments, right? Yeah, we all have those moments, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Nick Malati tuning in. Thank you, sir. He says THCV is great for energy. Yes, it is, sir.
THCV. Oh,
yes.
I don't think I'm nice. I don't think I've heard of THCV. What's THCV?
It's one of the cannabinoids that was found in a full spectrum. Like anything that's full spectrum, you've probably smoked it before. So anything that's full spectrum, you've had it. Sativa is very, very good. It's very high in THCV. So
okay, nice. I've never heard. I've never heard of a THCV. I know there's like all the different other cannabinoids and stuff, but that shit is growing so much. Like I've had a hard time keeping up with it, especially like the terpene wheel is just growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it's getting hard to keep up with, but yeah, there is a bunch of CBD stuff out there. There's CBDA, CBDG, CBDV, CBD. I don't know. There's a bunch of CBDs out there that do different stuff, and it's great. So speaking of CBD, if you guys just tuning in, get that little clicker down low, that little ticker down low. You get your little promo code at CBDchillfrog.com. There we go.
Wherever it's at. We're windshield wipers. Let's move wherever it's at.
That's right. Help support the show. But yeah, anyways, dude, out in Oregon. So you are putting Michigan to shame. That state has put Michigan to shame with legalizing like drugs and like psychedelics are legal out there. Am I correct?
Yeah, so it's it got passed. It's to my knowledge, it's not like really started yet, but it's going to be a little different than the rec cannabis that we got going on, because the health authority is actually going to be running the psilocybin market. So the cannabis market is run by the Oregon Liquor Control Commission, the OLCC for short, and they're the same ones that control booze. None of us get it. It doesn't make any fucking sense at all. Why the liquor people are controlling cannabis. I'm really jealous of Nevada, because Nevada has like a chamber of cannabis, and they have like different like regulatory things, and it's a little bit of a different kind of feel. I want something more like that. But the psilocybin right now is going to be run through the OHA, and I think it's going to be like really kind of popping off in the next couple years. I think it's going to take them a couple years to get things rolling with it, because since psilocybin's proven to be really effective for PTSD and it's depression, anxiety, all these different things, they're going to take more of like a medicinal approach for it. And as far as the all other drugs thing goes, man, that's been a pain in the ass, bro.
Yeah,
that's been a pain in the ass, because I get it, and at first, like, okay, so I get the logic and the love behind it, because if you have someone with a drug problem, throwing them in a jail cell is not going to help. It's easier to get high in jail than it is to get high on the street. And
it's 10 times easier to get drugs in prison than it is on the road.
Yeah. And so like, the concept of putting someone in a treatment program really is beneficial in my eyes, and I see it. But then there's also this flip side to it, to where now people aren't doing anything about it. And there's literally like someone that was in my apartment complex shooting up in their fucking car, and one of the neighbors fucking called the cops, or called somebody about it, and they said there's literally nothing we can do. Like they're basically saying just take care of it yourself, which I'm all for that. That's fine, but I don't want to get in trouble when I do.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be accosted by another police officer.
Yeah. Does anybody else hear Admiral Akbar and it's a trap? Like, that's the first thing I'm thinking of. Feels like a fucking trap. It feels like you're not going to do anything, but then if I do it, I'm going to go to jail. What the fuck? Like, what's going to happen here? Yeah. And I can see both. I can see the reason behind it, but there's been a lot of people taking advantage of that whole, the decriminalization of a lot of different drugs, because it's not legal. It's not like you can go buy fucking, every kind of drug that you want, but
Right.
it makes it so it's not like automatic jail time, basically.
Right.
Like, and I don't know all the stuff behind it. I think it's kind of like a 3-strike kind of thing, where it's like you get caught with it once, then it's kind of like a slap on the wrist and a treatment program, twice treatment program. And I think maybe the third time you do a little time for it. I'm not 100% sure, but I know they're taking advantage of it. I do know that.
Right. Right. Yeah. Like here in Michigan, like all we have is marijuana, is just recreational and medical. That's it. It's just marijuana. But you do see, I'm going to keep chain names out of the conversation just to protect myself. But there are people that at like local drugstores that they go into the bathroom and they'll shoot up in the drugstore. And like some of them like OD, and they've died right there in the drugstore bathroom. And it's sad to see that people actually go that route. And I just hope what Oregon is doing, it kind of pushes people in the right direction to seek help, not to take advantage, but to seek help and get their lives back on track. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you have stuff like this that comes out, you're always going to have people that take advantage, but there's always going to be people that it helps too. So I'm not saying it's like some crazy, it's not like an outdoor crack house around here, but I mean, there's people taking advantage of it, but there's also a lot of people that do need the help, because when it comes to just throwing someone in jail for a drug problem, like it's putting a Band-Aid on it. You're not actually healing it, it's just, you're just like saying, okay, we're just going to stop the bleeding for right now, and then it just can end up making it worse. And also that, if you have a drug problem and you end up going to jail for it, that your life is never going to be the same, because now you have a record. Now you have this other thing that you have to explain to people, it's like you have this whole other dilemma, and that's a really hard hole to get out of. It's very hard. It's like let's say someone loses their job, then they end up losing their home. Now they have to stay out all night. They end up, freaking getting robbed one night. Then someone's like, hey, if you just sniff this, you'll be able to be up for more hours, be able to protect yourself a little more. Boom. And then they could end up hooking up on meth, or they could end up stealing to eat, and then boom, now they have a shoplifting charge. And then they could end up getting caught for that. There's all different ways that you could just spiral down this rabbit hole, and getting to the source of it is definitely a solution, but you're always going to have people that take advantage of it, unfortunately. But it'll happen everywhere with every sort of system.
Yeah, you're always going to have the tails. You're never going to have two heads at the same time. You're always going to have a tails. So we're doing
well put.
Comment coming in. Do you guys have homegrown? PA reps are trying to say that possible mercury in the soil makes it dangerous. I've never heard that. We do have homegrown here. There are licensed caregivers that you can sign up with, but you would only be able to get the marijuana through them, and dispensaries, I guess. I think you can go to dispensaries too if you're also going through a caregiver. But yeah, we do have homegrown caregivers out here, and to be honest with you, the homegrown stuff is way better. As long as they're licensed, it's okay to buy from them, but it's way better. And the dispensaries are okay, to be honest with you, but I've never heard anything about mercury in the soil.
Me neither. I never heard anything about that either. We have lots of home grow out here. I mean, that's kind of Oregon's history. It's like we decriminalized in the 70s, and then we were the first state in the United States to decriminalize cannabis, and then Oregon got medical I think it was like in the 80s or 90s, something like that.
It was really early,
yeah, it was really early. Oregon's really always been kind of like ahead of the game when it comes to cannabis, and a big reason of that is because of the history behind Oregon. Whenever all the hippies kind of flocked up here after the 60s were over, because a lot of after San Francisco kind of became more populated and stuff like that, a lot of the hippies that were there originally went north. And so a lot of them went to Northern California, Southern Oregon. Oddly enough, known for growing the best weed in the United States is that region right there, Northern California and Southern Oregon. And so that's kind of how it became. And then you think of it, you have the 60s, all these hippies move up, and then by the 70s, cannabis is decriminalized. So Like, it happened pretty fucking quick. And
it's
then
like, we can't lock all these people up. Come on.
Yeah, there's just too many of them. We
Right,
can't
exactly.
build jails in time. They win. Yeah, exactly. And so, we've always kind of been ahead of the game on that. As far as mercury in the soil, I've never heard anything about that. And home grows, like I said, have always been a thing, especially with caregivers and medical patients too. I mean, that's kind of like a thing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like what his comment said is it's a BS excuse to keep corporate profits up from disposing GPs. I get that. That's kind of like a little scare tactic there, because mercury is nothing to play with, really. Like, like people like way back in the days, they used to use it for tooth fillings, and then people started going senile and crazy over it. So they stopped doing that. But I just see it as a typical scare tactic. I wouldn't worry too much about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that does seem like that would be something that would be used as kind of like a propaganda scare tactic tool. Because also, I think the government, or I think somebody is up to something preparing for federal legalization. And this might be a conspiracy, but I have an eye for patterns and timelines, And I noticed that. Have you noticed how many of our Instagram homies are just getting blocked, just getting cut down? Like, it's crazy.
Yes.
Like, it's insane. All, like, for those that don't know, Instagram is slaughtering cannabis content people. Like, I mean, they are just chopping them down left and right. Yeah. Have you been freaking taken down too?
They won't. I can't even upload my podcast onto Instagram anymore.
Are you serious?
I used to be able to upload my entire podcast onto IGTV, and now it won't let me. Like, IGTV is like not even a thing on my Instagram anymore. So I don't know.
And so they've been chopping them down, and then simultaneously, while all of these, these kind of like voices in cannabis who have been there for a long time are getting, I guess you could say, silenced and getting thrown out. Simultaneously, the DEA just made an announcement saying that they encourage like production of psilocybin and cannabis for FDA research. And I'm like, wait.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm like, so you're going to go ahead and shut up all of our homies and all of the people that have been fighting this battle, and then you're going to be like, hey, go ahead and grow this so we can do research on it, and then we can control it. So there needs to be more of us that are like, fuck you. No.
Yeah.
Like, it's like we need to like stop this corporate bullshit from cannabis that's going to be taking over. And it seems like so many people are just so cool with it, Sorry for my language, but
yeah. Oh no, it's typically fine. We're well past the 10-minute mark, so it's good. So
okay, cool.
When corporate gets a hold of it, like here in Midland, like the city that I live in Midland, Michigan, like they're not allowing any cannabis industries here, like any dispensaries or anything like that to open up here, because right down the road is Dow. And guess what Dow is planning on doing? Taking over the cannabis industry. So as soon as Dow gets their hands on it, then Midland's going to be like, okay, come get some cannabis. Come get some of this. Come give some of that. Come give them some of that. And then I think once corporate America gets a hold of like the marijuana thing, it's just going to be like cigarettes. You're going to get very little THC, and you're going to be able to go to the store and buy a pack of joints that are not going to get you high. You're going to get a little head buzz, just like nicotine does to you.
And then all of us are going to be forced back into the underground because we're, it's like, no, we're not going to fucking put up with that shit.
Right. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen, but
hopefully
not.
I can't see. More of us need to stand up to it, though, for sure. Like, more people need to be like, hey, enough is enough with this sort of stuff. Like, there's a company here in Oregon that's bought up a bunch of dispensary chains, and they haven't renamed them. They're literally just monopolizing dispensary chains. Like, and they own several major chains here in Oregon. I reached out to them to come on the podcast, but they haven't reached back out to me. So we'll see.
If they do, let me know.
Those here in Oregon that work in the cannabis industry, they know exactly who I'm talking about.
Nice. Little call out there. Yeah, if you ever get those people on your podcast, let me know. I might want to jump on for a little bit.
Oh, I will totally send them your way for sure. This is what we need to do, man. Because your podcast, Cloud Chronicles, Hippy Speedball, a couple others out there are really like we've kind of like created our own niche like in the cannabis realm, which is really cool because most cannabis podcasts that you hear is just all industry products, like stuff like that.
Mhm.
We were able to kind of like be that group that brings people on to kind of, like I said, be that bridge between cannabis and the rest of the world. That's exactly what your podcast is, Cloud Chronicles, Hippy Speedball. We're kind of like that bridge. So I feel like our show is where those conversations need to happen. You know, like, you know, our shows are the ones where it's like, you know, it's like people need to have that sort of, you know, like real talk about stuff that we're all thinking, but maybe people are too afraid to talk about, you know?
Right here, Nick Melati tuning in again. I've actually noticed that a lot of corporate GPs are using PGRs to juice THC content, but it doesn't actually make medicating more infectious. Healthy plants shouldn't have moon rock percentages. Yeah, I do see a lot of those moon rocks coming in. I did see an article about this. I don't know how true it is, but about PGRs enhancing marijuana just to make it look pretty. I've asked some people around. I've asked around about it, and some people tell me that it's true. Some people tell me that it's a bunch of BS. And most people that tell me that it's a bunch of BS, I kind of lean towards them because they're in the cannabis industry. They work at like grow farms or dispensaries or something like that. But they could also be feeding me BS because they don't want me to know their secret, knowing who I am. So
it's like, who do you trust, man? Who watches the Watchmen?
Right, exactly. So yeah, I would be on the lookout for the PGRs and for all that stuff to make your buds look a little bit pretty. But who knows? I don't know. If some weed sits in a jar for about a month, it's not going to be pretty. So
yeah, no, definitely not. And there needs to I'm glad you mentioned that because there's also something that kind of is like needs to be talked about in the cannabis realm of like what to do with all of this weed whenever it's been so far past its harvest date. Like I've gone to dispensaries where they have like deals on joints. And then I'll get the joint, and then it's like from a harvest of like a year and a half ago, and I'm like, "What the fuck, man?"
Dust. It's dust.
I know exactly. I'm smoking green weed dust. Is all it is, basically.
And it tastes like crap because it's been sitting in a paper for a month and a half.
Yeah. You might as well just give me the residue from a vaporizer at that point.
Right, exactly. Right. Just rip the filter out of the cart and just throw it at me. Exactly. Be like, "Here, smoke that."
Or like, "Here's your flakes, you punk bitch."
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too educated. I don't know much about the PGRs and stuff, so I can't really speak on that personally. But I mean, if there's stuff that just makes, you know, like if there's people that are just trying to, you know, do that kind of shady shit to make their stuff, like that's just not cool, man. Like that's just not cool. It sucks because with some of the dispos here in Oregon, like because we all have to wear masks, and I'm sure it's like that in Michigan still. I think it's like that all over the country still.
We don't have to wear masks here anymore. Nope, our mask mandate's
really?
over with. Yep.
Oh, damn it, you suck, dude. They're making us wear them here in Oregon.
Yeah, as long as you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear one. I'm not vaccinated, but I still don't wear one, so.
Fuck yeah, bro. Don't take any guff from those goddamn swine. That's what I say.
Right.
Man. Hell yeah.
As what one of my co-hosts would say, Michael Kobe would say, "That's punk rock, dude." But
exactly. Hey, I say that all the time. I'm like, that's very punk rock, dude. That's hell yeah. Definitely. But one of the shitty things is like when we have to go in the dispo wearing a mask, like you want to be able to smell the jars, and sometimes you can't. So like it doesn't, you can't get the same effect when you're going to buy the weed, Luckily at mine, they don't give a fuck. They let me pull it down and give it a whiff. Like they don't care, because I'm in there the damn time. I'm like Norm from Cheers in my dispensary. I walk in,
same way.
Hey, Joe.
I'm the same way. As soon as I walk in, and be like, "Back again?" Like,
yeah, right. Hey, they like your show, by the way. I just want to let you know that, bud.
Oh, that's nice. Well, let them know that I tell them thank you.
Yeah, shout out to Khalifa. Yeah, they're great dispo chain. Always have great fucking flower, good deals. They show a lot of love to the podcast, and they were playing. They would play our interview in the lobby.
Nice.
Yeah. So you've been on the face of the lobby and the dispos. People freaking literally watching us on TV right there in the pot shop. So
that's awesome. That's all I asked for.
It's awesome. It was a really cool feeling. So they're not playing it in the lobbies anymore right now because they have like this like educational stuff that they have on the screen. Mm-hmm. But they still play it over in the Khalifa Social Club. They still like to play the podcast over there. And so it was just be really cool because like I'd walk in, and luckily I was wearing a mask, because then I'd walk in and then I would see like 4 or 5 people watching me on TV. Like, and I'm just kind of like tucked over here, right? Yeah. Just I'm trying to change my voice when I'm talking,
I did have like at first I was trying to I wonder when I'm gonna get my first moment where people are like, "You're the guy off of you're the Oops guy off of YouTube." But now it happened once, and
nice.
It's happened, and after it happened the first time, it happened a couple of more times. And now it's like almost an everyday occurrence. And I'm just kind of like, damn, everybody knows who I am now.
Yeah, it can definitely kind of bite you, man, because that same thing happened over here too, because like it would, the very first time I ever got recognized by a stranger, I was actually out at breakfast with my daughter. And it like, in the fact that I was with my daughter felt so fucking cool to me, because like she sees the podcast, like she knows when I'm setting up to record. She knows whenever I'm recording and everything. And so she sees the process of it. And we went out to breakfast one time just on a little daddy-daughter date. And this guy, he like kind of looked at me and he was like, "You look really familiar." And I'm like, "Have we met before?" He said, "No, you look like a guy that does a show." And I was like, "I do one." He's like, "Are you Joe from Hippy Speedball Podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah, that is me." He's like, "Bro,"
just hug him.
Yeah, right. And then I was like, "Yeah, that is me." And he was like, "Dude, I saw you playing at the dispo. I love your fucking show." And I'm like, "That's awesome." But then I had to ask him, I was like, "So we've never met before?" He said, No. I've just seen you on the podcast." I'm like, "That's all you've known me, just by watching me on there?" I had to reassure that we've never actually met. And that's the only way he knows me from. And then it happened a few other times. Like they would get a new bud tender in the dispo, and then like they were a customer at first, and they had seen me on the freaking TV, and then they'd be like, "Hey, you look really familiar," or like they'd be like, "Your voice sounds so familiar." That's what I get a lot. I get the voice a lot for sure.
Distinguished voice, yeah.
I've always been told I have a voice for radio. I've always been told I got the face and the figure too. So
the face for radio. I've been told that a couple times. You had the face for radio. I mean, thanks. Go eat shit, dude.
I think that's like the dad joke of the podcast realm.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, I've always had a face for radio. We always kind of you have the Dave Chappelle white guy laugh.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Now I did want to dabble in a little bit because me and you are kind of working on a little something coming up here shortly. Mm-hmm. I believe our first episode is on Monday. So everybody look out for this. The OMG movie cast. No, today's Saturday.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My bad. I got it all messed up on my day. You're right. It's Monday, not tomorrow. Sunday the 14th is Monday the 15th.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, we do have a gaggle of really interesting people. We have Jay Hussein on there, who's a music producer. She's amazing. I follow her on Spotify even before she was on this podcast. I knew who she was. So I was like, this is amazing that she's going to be on here. And of course, Jerry is going to be on there. So, and Phil Better, the guy that was on my last episode, he's going to be on there. So, yeah. So heck yeah. So yeah, everyone look out for Monday. We will be reviewing The Harder They Fall, the Netflix original. If you haven't seen it, go see it, and then come on over to Monday and watch us review it. It's gonna be fun.
I'm so excited for that, man. Thank you for letting me be a part of that. I really appreciate it, dude. Because I'm a gigantic movie geek. I mean, right here behind my shoulder is freaking. I got like a bunch of gangster freaking movies. It's got like the cast from The Godfather, Goodfellas, and I got the Rebel Alliance flag above my head, and so I'm giant movie geek. And it's funny because I'm actually starting another movie podcast with my homegirl JJ. And we did a couple episodes of Hippy Speedball. She was on both episodes were about movies, actually, because we're just gigantic movie geeks. And so we're doing one where we just kind of get a little buzzed, and we choose like a different category, and then we pick a movie from that category, kind of give like a brief synopsis about it, and then just kind of like go over it and shit like that. Like a little bit similar to the OMG movie cast, but a little bit more booze involved, and it's just going to be audio only and stuff. So check out be on the lookout for Film in the Buff. That's the name of the podcast.
Film in the Buff. Yeah, that's good. That's a good name.
Yeah,
I wish I would have came up with that.
JJ's the one that came up with that. That was 100% JJ.
But speaking of your little gangster movie collection back there, which one of those are your favorite? Godfather? Goodfellas. Okay. Goodfellas,
hands down. My favorite movie of all time is Goodfellas.
Oh, okay.
Like it's in my opinion the perfect movie. Like it's got freaking elements of action, it's got comedy, it's got story, it's got history. Like it's a time period piece, and there's so much. The soundtrack is unbelievable. Like, and it's such an amazing movie. And I mean, speaking of the soundtrack, it ends with My Way from Sid Vicious. Like the punk rock version of My Way. Like such a great freaking song. And it doesn't play on, I don't think it plays on any other movie except for Sid and Nancy, really. But it's a great freaking Goodfellas is the #1 movie of all time, in my opinion.
It's like no Scarface. I love Scarface. That's like Al Pacino.
I do love Scarface, and I like Al Pacino more in like Donnie Brasco than I do in Scarface. Like, have you seen Donnie Brasco?
No, I haven't.
Dude, Donnie Brasco is amazing. It's got Al Pacino and Johnny Depp. And hey, Jimmy, I'm gonna go get the papers. Get the papers. That's what's up.
Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So Donnie Brasco is actually a true story, and it's about Agent Joe Pistone, and he was actually the first FBI agent to infiltrate the mob. Like, and he became so ingrained in the mob, he almost became a made man. Like, they wanted him to go make his bones so he can become a made man. And the FBI had to pull him out and shit. That's awesome. And so it is underrated, isn't it? Donnie Brasco is so good. And it's got Al Pacino plays it's not Dela Croce, it's Ruggiero. Yeah, he plays Ruggiero, and who was like the one that kind of like took Donnie Brasco under his wing. And it's really an amazing fucking movie. Johnny Depp like kills that movie too.
Oh, Johnny Depp's in it?
Yeah, he plays the FBI agent.
I am gonna watch this as soon as we get off of here, bro.
Dude, it's so good. And then the rest of the cast is really good too. Like the guy that plays Mr. Blonde in Reservoir Dogs.
Okay.
He plays in there. A bunch of fucking other people. It's a really great movie. But Scarface is good too, man. Scarface is really good. Have you seen? Go ahead.
Oh, the Scarface, like that movie was my first turn away moment when I watched. Yeah, because when the chainsaw was going into his head, and it was brilliant because it didn't actually show the chainsaw going into this head. It just heard the noise and then the blood trickling out and then his eyes going crazy. And it was brilliant the way it was pulled off back in the I think
when they put Tony Montana's neck in the chain, like when they choked him with the chain and made him watch it and stuff like that. Like that's a freaking scene. See, I think I ruined Scarface for myself because I had played Grand Theft Auto Vice City before I even watched Scarface. And there's so many elements of Grand Theft Auto Vice City that are in there. Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel? I don't know.
Mr. Blonde. No, Harvey Keitel, isn't he Mr. White?
Mr. White, I believe.
Yeah, I think he was Mr. White. Mr. Blonde was Michael Madsen. I think that was the actor's name.
Oh, yep, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, I think that was Michael Madsen. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a while since I've seen Reservoir Dogs. But anyway, Michael Madsen was on Donnie Brasco. Harvey Keitel's a bad motherfucker too. I love Harvey Keitel. He's an amazing actor. He's actually like a real badass in real life too.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. He's actually, from what I've heard, he's a pretty hard dude. Like, he's a great actor, but he's like, I've heard he's a bad motherfucker for sure. I mean, you can't not be a super awesome guy and play the wolf, you know? Like,
right, exactly. You gotta be. It takes a wolf to play a wolf. There we go.
Hey, I see what you did there. Nice. Yeah, no
play words.
Scarface is actually a remake. Have you seen the original?
Like, okay, hard to keep the name straight. I just remember. Yep, Buscemi is Mr. Pink.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi, right?
Yeah, he's he's the one out of the all where you're just like Mr. Pink. You're gonna
Mr. Pink, right?
instantly
'Cause
gonna
he hates
recognize
his
him.
name so much. He's like, it's a little too close to Mr. Pussy, you know? Well, Mr. Brown's a little too close to Mr. Shit.
Yeah,
I love that. Oh, that's a great fucking movie. Well, and
we have to marathon some movies when we get done doing this now.
Bro, for real, man. I feel like whenever you, me, and Jerry and finally meet in person, we're gonna fuck shit up, man. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be a great time.
You gotta all meet and like party in Vegas together or something like that.
Yeah, we actually had he actually went to Vegas and he's like, dude, you gotta come out here to Vegas with me. You gotta come out to Vegas with me. And I was like, I can't. We're planning a trip to Disney come Christmas. So we're kind of saving up all my money for that. And my fiance is like, you're not going to Vegas by yourself. And I was like, well, then if I go to Vegas, I got to bring her with me. And then it becomes a family thing. And then I won't be able to do anything with Jerry and what that he wanted to do. So I was just like, you go do your thing, bro. I'm like, we'll meet up eventually. And yeah, exactly. We'll fuck shit up. So
yeah. Well, maybe you can, because I mean, I'm going back down there in May for the next round of the Bud Tender Awards. So I mean, shit, maybe you can freaking try to swing that. I mean, it's a few months away, so maybe you can try to pull something. You know, find a sitter for the kiddo for a couple nights, and then freaking you and your girl come out. We party it up, freaking do the thing. Snoop Dogg's performing this year.
Oh yeah, Snoop Dogg's gonna be there this year. Oh, I have to go now.
Yeah. Well, technically it's DJ Snoopadelic, but yeah, it's Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's going to be performing with Travis Barker.
Oh, that's gonna be insane. New Sopranos movie was okay, but it felt like an episode. It did. Yes, it did. It felt like a very, very long episode.
I heard some I heard some bad things about the Many Saints of Newark, so I'm really, really nervous to watch it, if I'm being honest.
Right.
Like I haven't watched it yet. I'm holding off for a little bit. It's the same reason I held off to watch The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, I haven't yet to see that too. Have you seen it?
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah. Okay, you don't have to say anymore.
Yeah. I wasn't.
So.
Yeah.
So.
It wasn't
good description, Tony.
I mean, my Star Wars is 4, 5, and 6. You know, call me old fashioned, but that's what that flag represents to me is 4, 5, and 6.
The Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, like back when like the new ones didn't exist, like the older ones.
Yeah, the ones in the 70s. Yeah, so technically, you know, A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Or
see, I always picture
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, those in my mind, those are the first three. I'm just like the first 3 Star Wars, and everyone's like, "Oh, episode 1, episode 2, and episode 3." Yeah. No, the first 3.
First 3, yeah. No, for sure, definitely. If you would have said the first 3, I would still know what you're talking about because generally people are like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. I usually just say 4, 5, and 6 just because I don't know. That's the first thing that pops up in mind. But yeah, those are the ones that I'm more into. I wasn't into the Rise of Skywalker, and Many Saints of Newark. I feel like is kind of like a similar vibe, you know. Like I'm really nervous to watch it because I love The Sopranos so much. I love The Sopranos.
I hated it when I hated the very last episode when it faded to black before he died. Like, why couldn't you just show it? Everyone wanted to see it. Huh?
Can we get into that? Do you know why they did it that way? Have you ever done any research about it?
No, if you know why,
yes,
oblige us, please.
Yes, I do. Yes. And I was pissed off too, 100%, just like everyone else. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was very, very mad about that. And so 7, 8, 9 better than 1, 2, 3 at least.
Yeah.
I yeah. And,
okay.
Yeah. And so so The Sopranos, the final scene in there, the way you need to watch it is you have to look at the cinematography behind it. So if you pay attention, you can look at, it goes from like 4 different angles and it bounces in a specific order from these different angles. At first you see Tony sitting down, and then you see the car outside, you see what Tony sees, and then you see like another aspect of like some sort of shot of the restaurant. Like, you know, and so you see all this bounces from these different shots. And if you pay attention, in that sequence, it's in that order. And then it goes from that goes from outside to the restaurant to like looking at Tony, and then the next frame will be what Tony sees, and that would be black because he got assassinated.
Okay.
So they basically just use like, so it'd be like and they also foreshadowed it too, because they whenever Silvio was at that table with that guy and then he got his head blown off, and then he's like sitting right there next to him, he's like, the craziest thing is I didn't even hear it happen. Like, he was like, it just is like, next thing I know, he was gone. I didn't even know what happened. Like, and so I think that was like foreshadowing. And the director or the guy who created it, I can't remember what his name is, but he was the one that came forward, was like, oh no, there was a reason it was done this way. And it was that dude at the bar that killed Tony. Like the one that ended up leaving and going to the bathroom, because also they reference that in one of the shows, because they talk about that scene in The Godfather, wherever Michael Corleone kills the cop and the other mob boss, and then he goes to the bathroom and the gun's hidden in there.
Right. Yeah. They didn't really make that that clear. If they were trying to push that, it wasn't really clear at all.
They didn't at all, and that's why he came forward and was like talking about it. You can watch a really good YouTube video about it, like, because I had to do some research. I was like, there had to have been a reason. There's no fucking way that it was just like, what is the artistic reason for ending it this way? And I found out it had to do with the cinematography behind it, and it was like the next frame was it would go to black, and then he would be killed.
Yeah, not a fan of Easter eggs. Yeah, see, like in Marvel movies, I do that. I find myself forgetting about the actual movie and just looking for Easter eggs inside the movie. And then the movie's over with, and I'm like, oh, what the hell just happened? Yeah, right. All right, I gotta go watch the movie again.
Right. That's why I need to see those movies like multiple times through, because at first I'll watch it to absorb it, and then I'll go look for the Easter eggs, because I'll be like, and I'll maybe catch like ones here and there, but I'll like, try to find them every once in a while, but they can get a little tedious to look for sure. Like one of my favorite Easter eggs out of any comic book was that Strains for Mafia movies versus Star Wars.
Larry OG for the mob.
Space Monkey for Star Wars.
Ooh.
Think of Fight Club.
Yeah, I think Space Monkey could be Fight Club. It could be for Star Wars too, because of the whole space thing. Larry OG for mob. I would say Capulator Mac for mob, maybe.
For mob?
Yeah.
What about Luciano G?
Ooh.
like Lucky Luciano.
Luciano G.
Yeah, or no, just Luciano G.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah,
I grew
he's
one.
like,
nice. That's what's
yeah,
up.
nice. Yeah. For people who don't know, Tony Two Tokes here over on YouTube is a friend of mine over on YouTube, and he is a phenomenal grower. Go check out all his stuff over on Tony Two Tokes. Tony Two Tokes. Yeah, go check out all his stuff. Like there's shots where he gets on his roof and looks down at the field of loveliness and these big, tall, hefty, gargantuan plants, and I don't know. It's a good thing I don't know where he lives.
Thanks for tuning in, freaking Tony Two Tokes. Actually, you'll get a kick out of this when you're talking about Star Wars strains, because I did an episode with Lotus, and he was the creator of the Lotus genetics, and we got to smoke a brand new strain on the podcast that was called Vader's Haze.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was a cross between Death Star and Red Haze. And it was like it was before it got to hit the shelves and everything, and it got us ripped. It got us super lit. And it was dope. We got to go there to the farm and do the episode there and shit. Yeah, it was a blast.
That's a hybrid. Am I correct?
What's that?
The hybrid, is that a hybrid mix? Am I correct?
Yeah. It's a hybrid for sure. It was I think it's sativa dominant, I think.
Okay.
Because of I think so. But it was chronic. It was really good. We got super lit. And it was just a lot of fun, because we did the first part in the barn, and then we did the second part of the podcast in the grow room. And so like we got to go like outside and set it up and everything. Yeah, Death Star is really good.
Yes,
definitely.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it was a lot of fucking fun. Going to those grow offs are a lot of fun. And I don't know if Tony Two Tokes does this, but I love the drone shots. Like when you get like a good drone shot of the field. Like it just goes up and expands. You're like, oh shit! Like I love those. Those are so cool.
It's just amazing. Like I will hopefully one day get him to come on the show and show us some good stuff. But
come on, Tony, come on, Oops Got Me Smoking. It's fun. Dan
he doesn't like
gentle,
interviews.
I promise.
He does. He's told me he doesn't like interviews, and I respect that. So I would if he wants to come and keep joining in the comments, I'll be more than happy to do that. So
I can understand that. I can respect that, Tony. I got you. We can just go get the papers. Get the papers.
Get the papers. That's right. And that being said, everyone, we are running out a little bit out of time here.
Okay.
I do want to thank Joe for coming on.
Thanks for having me,
dude. A little bit of time with my boy.
What's that?
Not a problem. Thank you for coming on and spend a little time with your boy here.
Yes, anytime, bro, anytime. And I'm gonna have you on Hippy Speedball really, really soon. We're gonna chat about this after we're done.
That's right.
It's about damn time.
Exactly. I need to start guest starring more. Like I have everybody going, hey, do you want to be on my podcast? Hey, do you want to be on my podcast? But with now going back to work, COVID being over with the 4-year-old, and now I have 3-4 shows now. So it's a little hectic. So it's kind of hard to find time to do guest spots, but I guess I just have to make some time to do so. But
I had a really good idea for like podcasters. We can chat about it after we get off. But yeah, I wanted to share something with you about that sort of thing.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. But yeah, thank you again, Joe. If you want to take a minute or two to tell these people how to find you, where to find you, and all that good stuff, go ahead and do so.
Yeah, definitely. So you can find me anywhere that you get podcasts, Hippy Speedball Podcast, HIPPY Speedball, one word podcast. And you can also find me on Instagram at Hippy Speedball Podcast and also on YouTube, Hippy Speedball Podcast. So pretty much on all platforms, if you Google it, you'll find me.
Just Google my name. That's why I always tell people, just Google me.
Well, don't Google Joe or Joe, whatever direction it's at. Don't Google that. Google Hippy Speedball Podcast. Yeah. But HIPPY. But yeah, dude, thank you so much for having me, bro. This was a blast. I always enjoy talking to you, man. I always have a fucking blast anytime we're talking. And yeah, we're gonna get you on Hippy Speedball soon. And thank you, Oops Caught Me Smoking World, for letting me come on and share my stories with y'all.
Like awesome. We'll get you backstage real quick. I got some announcements to make, but other than that, we'll get them back. But anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in live. If you are watching live, if you're not watching live, thank you for clicking that play button. And okay, we got another comment coming in. Thank you, Tony. But yeah, this Monday, our very first episode of the OMG Movie Cast. Another movie podcast. Yes, I am on another movie podcast, and we will be reviewing The Harder They Fall. Joe will be there too. It'll be great. Be sure to check us out on Thursdays at a new time, 1 p.m. Eastern time in the afternoon with Bet That with Dan and Jerian, the best sports talk show on best sports podcast talk show. I don't know how to describe it, but it's cool. Just come check it out. We talk about a lot about sports, and we give you your weekly picks of the NFL too. So not too bad about that. And then of course, check me out on The Real Boys every Monday night at 8:00. And there we go. You're searching the web, oopscaughtmesmokingstore.com. Go get yourself a t-shirt, a hoodie. T-shirts are $15.99. Hoodies go up to $35, I believe. And backpacks are new and they are $47 out the door. So go ahead and oopscaughtmesmokingstore.com. Check that out. And for all you CBD users, I did this before the show, but I'm going to do it after the show too. We had just partnered with Chill Frog CBD. So go to chillfrogcbd.com. Use promo code OOPS30 in all caps, and you will get 30% off of your order, courtesy of your boy here. And one more again. On Wednesday, November 17th at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be guest starring on Live in the Smoke Break with Sonic Boone. And that is it. I think I've cut all my promos. I think I am done. So that being said, I love you guys. Stay up. Peace.
Scene 1, Apple, take 1.
What time is it?
You want to get high?
That's right.